Good evening, everyone. It's great to see you all here. Welcome to our May 21st regular meeting. At this time, I'd like to ask you to please rise for the flag salute. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, board president's report. I have none this evening, so we will go right to our student representatives report. Welcome.
Thank you. All right, so after 9 months of hard work from our teachers and students, our AP testing was conducted over the last 2 weeks and is now over with. I believe that there were 23 total exams held throughout those 2 weeks, which is a very broad range of subjects and a great success for our school in offering those programs. Along with that, the junior prom on Saturday was a success after the last AP test, which is perfect timing. Although being interfered by some rain, it was still a very fun night for everybody. Then on Saturday, May 11th, a new mental health team, along with some coaches for our sports, was trained by ACT and ACT certified, which is essentially CPR training, but for mental health. And these student athletes were chosen by their coaches to represent a new program that's being started next year, which is called the Hope Squad. And they will be essentially student therapists that will be available to be reached out to by other athletes if they need to talk about things that are bothering them in their lives. Then senior activities that are upcoming, run by Mrs. Hannah, are very, very abundant right now. So Mr. Spartan is Thursday at 7:00, which I believe I've talked about here before, but it's essentially an opportunity for senior boys to show off their talents and their personality. I know Brower over there is going to be there, right, bro? Then senior prom bids are currently being sold. I believe that takes place sometime. I know it takes place sometime next month, but I do not remember the date right now. Then June 6th. Thank you. And then senior picnic and senior sunset, which will be held on the turf, are also coming up next month. So sending out the seniors with some fun activities while they're nearing their graduation date.
Awesome. All right. So some of our sports teams are starting their state playoffs. So baseball, we have a game Thursday, home against Point Borough. Girls lacrosse plays Robbinsville on Thursday. Boys lacrosse plays Somerville on Thursday, and softball plays Mid-North on Thursday. So, we had a good season. Now we're getting into the competitive playoffs, so it should be fun. Our visual and performing arts school has a capstone class, and seniors have been putting on one act plays, and they're presenting them May 31st at the high school. And then our National Honor Society induction ceremony is on June 3rd, and that's being paired with the Holly Danish Guard Toy Drive for Cancer Clinic of New Jersey.
Wow, good. Very good. Thank you both.
Thank you.
You're always so thorough.
Ms.
I learn a
Brown.
lot from you guys.
Ms. Perlamis, can I just say one
Yes.
thing? I just wanted to mention, because Michael Chowning did speak about it, and he did speak about the ACT training. And I just think that in the world of honoring students, that we all should know that Michael actually is the person who brought the ACT training to Ocean Township High School. It was his idea. He spoke to some of our staff, and he did bring it. Ms. Todd, who's also in the back of the room that'll hate me for saying this, was also somebody who helped us get the training done at the high school. And I just think Michael is being a little bit shy about letting the world know, but I will do it.
That's
That
good.
he.
That's fabulous. Congratulations. Thank
Thank
you for bringing that up. Okay, we will now move on to our superintendent's report. Ms. Welding.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful to see a packed house here tonight for our board meeting, and we're very excited to recognize so many of you out here in our audience. I also would like to thank our two student representatives for their report. And in addition, we do have the math awards tomorrow evening for our 6 through 12 students. We also have the spring band concert coming up on May 23rd. We have the TOIS Spring Chorus Concert for grades 6, 7, and 8, May 29th. The OTHS Spring Choral Concert is also May 29th. And we have the 5th grade band concert on June 4th. Just a reminder to everyone that we also are closed. School is closed this coming Monday in honor of Memorial Day. And we are 1 month from graduation. Our 8th grade and 12th grade graduation will be held on June 21st on Corelli Field. So we'll have more to come on that at our June meetings, but I did just want to remind everyone of those important dates as well. Okay, this evening, it is my privilege to be able to recognize some of our Spartan students for these great accomplishments. We're going to start out with the students who have earned the New Jersey State Seal of Biliteracy and who have met the New Jersey State ELA graduation pathway requirements. If there are administrators in the audience that are here to help give out certificates or who helped these students reach this great accomplishment, I ask you to please come forward so that you can help give out our certificates. And I'd also like to start out, before we call the students, I'd like to recognize the teachers who worked so hard to get our students to this great achievement. Some are here this evening, some are not. If you hear your name, please come forward. We have Mrs. Lottawasser, Mrs. Tavar, Mrs. Chu, Mrs. Zaccarino, Mrs. Basilone, Mrs. Revezi, Ms. Chorman, and Mrs. White. Thank you for joining us and thank you for coming up. And thank you for all that you do. I am going to read all of the names of students who are recognized, whether you're here or not. I still think you deserve that recognition. If you are here, please come forward this way and you will be handed a certificate, and then we're going to coordinate over here in front of the step and repeat banner. Are we ready? Okay, here we go. Carlotta Aragon Moya. Ricardo Barahana. Andrew Brower. Lindsay Corella. Rosangel Cruz Roman. Lydia Diaz Martinez. Yeah, don't sit back down. Stay up here. Stay up here. Yep, you can stand there. And if we have to wrap around this way, we can. Lydia Diaz Martinez. Okay. Glenn Storilis. Stephen Galicia. Aniri Gandhi. Clyde Gerv. Eric Gomez. Emmanuel Jane Beauvais. Joshua Levitt. Nomi Meyer. David Mendoza. Frida Morales Flores. Juan Ortiz Osorio. Julia Carrera. Bailey Ramirez Salazar. Felipe Ramirez. Paulo Ramos Fernandez. Jacqueline Rodriguez Guzman. Jane Rogers. Alejandro Sanchez Ramirez. Okay, we're going to ask all students and teachers and administrators to pose for a picture over here in front of the banner.
Maybe we should move that. Maybe we should move that.
We're gonna have to make 2 rows, right? We're gonna have to make at least 2 rows.
It's
all
got it.
Parents, you can come up too if you'd like to take a picture. You're welcome to come up into this area here and take a photo. Okay.
Good night. Thank you.
Great job. Okay. All right, hold the pose. Keep holding it. All right, one more time, congratulations. Okay.
Job, Liz.
Okay. Next, we'd like to recognize one of our staff members who is walking away. Please come back up, Miss Cecilia Villa. She helped organize much of what you just saw, but she in her own right has earned an achievement. She has been elected vice president to the New Jersey Teachers of English to Speakers of Other Languages, New Jersey Bilingual Educators Executive Board, which is informally known as NJTESOL. She has been elected vice president, and this is part of a 6-year commitment that will end with her as president of the organization.
Wow.
This is a tremendous accomplishment. Vice president and president of a state association like this. We want to congratulate Ms. Cecilia. Okay, next we are going to honor students who have participated in the 2024 National Italian Exam and have earned either merit certificates or bronze, silver, or gold awards. I also would ask any administrators that are here that helped supervise these areas to please come forward. And I'd like to recognize the teachers who helped get the students to these wonderful achievements. Again, Mrs. Zaccarino, Miss Basilone, Miss Revesi, and Miss Revesi. All right, I think, and we have Mr. Jackson here as well. So thank you for all your hard work. And now I'm going to read the students' names. Again, I will read all of the names. If the students are here, please come forward to receive your certificate and then stand here up front by the banner. Okay, Brandon Abitamarco, Eric Brandamar, Travis Donahue, Mia Fiorentino, Mariana Garcia Telez, Sabrina Go, Charlotte Hanks, Benjamin Jacobson, Ella Koch, Isabella Lacour, Matthew McGower, Michaela Murphy, Joel Rincon Perez, Gloria Smart, William Suzo, Brooke Todd, Devin Van Wagner, Rachel Walsh, Jack Bell, Alvaro Aragon Moya, Chloe Chernoff, Catherine Dizon, Ryan Hennessy, Zoe Archer, Jade Bow Backhedron, Sophia Higgins, Kaylee Diaz, and Chloe Farrell. Okay, if all the students, teachers, and administrators would gather in front of the banner, parents, again, you're welcome to come on up to take a photo.
Okay. Yep.
Looking good, looking good.
Wow, that's
Everybody, keep holding the pose. One more staff. I don't know. Congratulations, students. And we have one more recognition this evening. About a week or so ago, Ocean SEPTA, our special education PTA, held their annual awards ceremony. And first, I'd like to just recognize SEPTA for the wonderful work they do for our students. And in particular, this award ceremony that recognizes the staff who work so hard every day to meet the needs of our students and to help our Spartans on their way to their legacies. We really appreciate all that SEPTA does for our district. They honored Miss Christine Rovatini with their Ocean SEPTA Excellence Award. So I'd like to introduce up her principal, Miss Palea, and Miss Christine Rovatini. Once again, to recognize her, would you like a picture? Would you like a picture? Go ahead.
Now I have it. Do it now.
Yes. Just once again, I'd like to congratulate her.
Congratulations to all our students and staff. What an accomplishment. We really are very, very proud of you all.
I want to thank everyone for coming out this evening and invite you to stay if you would like to hear the rest of the board meeting business. But if you have other things you'd like to move on to, now would be the great time to make your departure. You're very welcome. Give us a minute or so. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thank you for all your hard
Yeah, there you go.
You need your mother in there too.
Great.
Why change now, Suzanne?
Congratulations. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Have a great night. Congratulations.
She's taking a picture, Sue.
Give another. Thank you. Good to see you.
Very sweet.
Okay, everyone, we're going to get on with our meeting.
Really?
And I'm going to ask our school business administrator if he has a report this evening.
Nothing further to add, Madam President.
Thank you. Okay, the following are a series of motions to be read by the committee chairpersons. All motions have been discussed at a recent public work session. Some motions have been approved at a public work session, and the minutes for the approved items are posted on the district website. At this point in the meeting, we will now conduct the first of two public comment sessions. The first session will be open for public comments on agenda items only. The second session will be at the end of the meeting and can be on any topic. Would anyone from the public like to comment on any agenda item at this time? Anyone in the room? No? Okay, Mrs. Conway, is there anyone in the queue?
No, Madam President, there are no commenters. No, there are no commenters at this point.
Thank you. Okay, we will now move on to our action items. Mr. McCarthy.
Move to approve item 5.1. Can I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Personnel, Ms. McGovern.
Yes, I move to approve items 6.1 through 6.6. May I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Ms. Dam, Ms. Gilman,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider. Yes. Ms. Talarico. Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Ms. Parliamus.
Yes.
Motion carries.
No, I do. Yeah. I'd like to say something. I'd like to change my vote on item 8.13 from the May 14th, 2024 meeting. I'd like to make a motion to rescind 8.13 from a meeting on Tuesday, 8/14/2024. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. Now, I'd like to make a motion.
No, no, we gotta call the roll.
Okay, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Ms. Dam, Ms. Gilman,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Ms. Talarico, Mr. Weinstein.
Yes.
And Ms. Parliamus.
Yes.
And then Ms. Parliamus. I'd like to make a motion to reapprove the item 8.13 from the May 14th, 2024 meeting to approve personnel for the 24-25 school year as noted in the agenda from that meeting.
Second.
Mr. I was supposed to say Hastings.
Okay, Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Ms. Dam, Ms. Gilman,
Yes to all, but abstain for my family members and their supervisors.
Just a point of inquiry, the motion on the floor is for the agenda item from the meeting from last week.
Correct.
Correct.
It's staff.
Mr. McCarthy,
I would like to recuse myself from this.
I came here because of, well, at first I was at the high school and then they said I had.
Excuse me just for 1 second. Miss Via will help you, right?
Yes.
Right there.
Yeah, right over there in the back. Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Cass.
Ms.
Yeah, Ms.
McGovern,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Ms. Talarico, Mr. Weinstein,
Yes, but I'd like to abstain on my voting for my family members and their supervisors.
and Ms. Parliamus.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. McGovern.
Yeah, just as a point of procedure, I apologize, Madam President. I did not recuse. I abstained from that vote. Yeah, I abstained.
Okay,
Would we
thank,
like to?
no,
Okay, I didn't know if we wanted to call his name and let him take a picture. Okay.
no, we're okay. All right, we will now move on to financial management and resource services. Mr. Weinstein.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to move for approval 7.1 to 7.10.
Second.
Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Ms. Dam, Ms. Gilman,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Ms. Talarico, Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
and Ms. Parliamus.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Weinstein. Instruction, education, and student activities, Mrs. Gilman.
Certainly, Madam President. I'd like to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items for approval. 8.1, move to approve and affirm our superintendent's HIB report. 8.2, move to affirm out-of-school suspension report. 8.3, move to approve internship. 8.4, move to approve professional development. And 8.5, move to approve curriculum writing hours.
Second.
Mr. Dalton,
Yes.
Ms. Dam, Ms. Gilman,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. McGovern,
Yes.
Mr. Schneider,
Yes.
Ms. Talarico, Mr. Weinstein,
Yes.
Ms. Parliamus.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Mrs. Gilman. This time I'd like to ask the board, is there any old business? Ms. Gilman.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to read this on behalf of Jeff Weinstein and myself.
Can you pull the mic closer to yourself?
During the public comment portion of our May 14th board meeting, Alex Hayes spoke of the status of an ethics complaint filed by Mrs. Talarico, insinuating that the School Ethics Commission has found Jeff and I guilty of acting unethically. As Ms. Hayes and Ms. Talarico well know, that is patently false. We consulted with our attorney, David Rubin, to write an appropriate response to comments made at that meeting in order to set the record straight and allow us to continue undistracted from our work as elected board members. Here are the facts. Ms. Talarico filed a 12-count complaint against Jeff and Irene, former board presidents. The School Ethics Commission dismissed roughly half of these counts on their face as being without any merit whatsoever. For the remaining counts, the commission has made no findings of guilt, but merely ruled on a hearing before an administrative law judge to make a full record of what occurred. That hearing has yet to be scheduled. We are confident once the evidence is presented, we will be fully exonerated and the complaint will be seen for what it is, a waste of taxpayers' money, a distraction from the business of the board, and a stunt by a disgruntled board member.
Thank you, Ms. Gilman. Is there any other old business? Is there any new business from the board? No new business? Okay. Is there any public comment from anyone in the room? All right, Mrs. Conway, is there any public comment from anyone in the queue?
Yes, Madam President, we have one commenter, Alex Hayes. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Ms.
Please
Hayes,
go ahead.
is she muted, Mrs. Conway?
She is not. I've unmuted her.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Now you can hear me? Sorry about that. Okay, well, that was an interesting speech, so I'll have to digest that later. I logged in 3 minutes late to the work session earlier, and you're already on the 5th item out of 12. So I don't know what I missed in like 3 minutes. But when you were talking about the legislative committees, discussions with our lawmakers and aides next year and going above the 2%. So I'll look forward to the recording of this when it's posted, so to see what you all were talking about up there. Just a note, you can't really hear what you're talking about upstairs. It's very difficult. You all have microphones in front of you right now, but upstairs it's like an omnidirectional microphone. So perhaps you can look into another way so that everybody can be heard. We can hear the papers shuffling more than I could hear some people. So I also wanted to say good luck to the TOIS track team for the All-Star meet that is tomorrow in Homedale. But most importantly, what I wanted to talk about was this week's story in the Asbury Park Press, talking about the 2022 to 2023 calls to police from local school districts. And of course, the APP focused on Monmouth and Ocean counties, talking about how police are called more often to schools since the pandemic. And they basically culled data from the Department of Education. And while the article doesn't go over Hibbs, or some of the other categories, it was discussing how violence calls at schools have been going up 14% across schools. And OTHS, Ocean Township High School, unfortunately was at the top of a list that I don't think any of us really want us to be at the top of. It said that the most weapons-related police calls in Ocean and Monmouth counties, the number one spot was Ocean Township High School with 8. And it also said Ocean Township High School tied for 4th for most violence-related police calls for schools, violence-related, whereas the one I spoke to earlier a second ago was weapons-related. So I guess my question is, when you look deeper at the state data, and they talk about 40 incidences, I believe, at the high school and 15, I believe, at TOIS. And the state data is more in depth than the Asbury Park Press. And I do believe it encompasses some data that Superintendent Weldon has already presented to us. But it kind of paints our district, unfortunately, in a negative light, especially the high school. So that's unfortunate. So I'm just wondering, besides the obvious behind the numbers, what are we doing to reach out to students? With what interventions and deterrence programs, might we be ramping up in light of this? Is there any kind of discipline readjustments or looking at how we discipline our students or enforcing discipline. So a couple of parents have come up to me with the article and are quite shocked that the high school was named at the top. So maybe we can get more information on that at another time. And I guess that's it, but I will close in saying I don't really know how you perceived my comments the other night because you stepped out of the room, Miss Gilman, but I was reading from the SEC's opinion remanding the 15 counts to the OAL. I made no mention of any guilt. I said they found probable cause to send your 15 counts with Mr. Weinstein to the OAL. So point of clarification there. I guess that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mrs. Hayes. Is there any other public commenters in the queue, Mrs. Conway?
No, Madam President, there are no further commenters.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I'd like a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion. Second.
Okay, thank you. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all for coming out.